navigating the college application process. So both to Ishil and Bhargava, what was that process like for you? What were some obstacles that you faced along the way? Bhargava, you kind of touched on how you had to, decide between community college or the university. And what was that whole application process like for you?
Well, for the community college, there isn't really an application, because community colleges are gonna allow anyone to come in. And uh, honestly, my things I had to focus on during my 2 years at community college was basically, work as hard as possible because I'm not gonna get the same college experience as someone who goes to the University of Washington or UC San Diego or something like that. And so I really had to, reach out to people in community college. There's I think every college has a college counselor that you can go to and talk to about any problems you have, any like aspirations or ideas that you have for yourself or the future. And I really found that helpful for me, especially right before transferring to University of Washington. Um, they really help you, plan out what you want to do, whether you're ready to transfer, and any other problems that you have even in life. And uh, I guess I would touch on more applying for transfer, um, because I didn't really apply for any colleges when I finished high school other than community college. Um, I would say tell students to seek out college counselors if it's available. I fortunately uh, I had my family and friends to count on during this time, and because of the pandemic, we didn't have student services like college counseling available, and so that was kind of like left in the dark for me. But if it is available for students, I would tell them to reach out to these counselors or staff at the university you're trying to apply for or your current college. It really does help. They know what they're doing and they can really guide you in your college transition.
Perfect. Yes, I think those kinds of it's important to seek out those resources. And how about for you, Ishel? What was that process like for you applying?
Yeah, definitely. I think, obviously the biggest part of that is the essays, right? You see the prompt and then you sit down and then you're like, okay, now what? And I think that, you know, I spent a lot of time just like Googling, looking for, other people's essays and being like, oh, this person, oh, they got into like this top tier school, can I just like kind of figure out how to make that work? And uh, it's actually very tempting to do that. But I'll tell you right now, at the end of it, like at the end of my process, I could not take like even, like a single paragraph or a single word from that person's essay because it's really hard to be able to write about yourself and convey your story if you're using someone else's kind of experience because they're always going to be different. So I think if if I were to give any advice on that front is, obviously starting as early as you can just to be able to, have that process of iteration where you can, go through an essay, be like, okay, this is the story that I want to tell about, my we're relating to the prompt, right? Whatever it is, being able to tell your story in that and seeing, okay, does this actually relate to the prompt? Is there a better anecdote I can use? Because I'm sure, you might be doing different activities in high school and you want to talk about different ones, right? So being able to make sure that your application and each question gives, I guess, the best parts of you. And I think that kind of process is really important. And just like Bhargava mentioned, being able to reach out to those college counselors is definitely, going to be pretty helpful because they know, how exactly essays are supposed to be written. It's unfortunate, but there is kind of like a standard, not a standard template, but there's kind of like a way to writing different applications. For example, if you're looking at the UCs, you kind of want to be able to get your point across quickly, be able to quantify your results, whether that be with accomplishments or whatnot. So yeah, so I mean, I definitely say start early, staying true to whatever your story is, and looking out for resources. I also have I think a friend of mine is also like started this college admissions like workshop thing. I can drop the link in the chat, but I think they also kind of show different resources that you can use to prepare yourself, no matter what stage you're at, whether you're a freshman in high school or you're a junior or a senior, figuring out which strategies to use when selecting colleges or writing your applications. But yeah.
I think another thing that Ishil said is very important is starting early. That's just something that I've learned a lot in college, is just like start early as possible in anything and keep track of it in an Excel or a Google Doc, because that'll help, because if you don't remember something, you know that you wrote it down somewhere. And another thing would be like, if it would be like, you want to write your statements as genuine, as authentic as possible. You don't want to write something that is modeling someone else's life, because I guarantee you that it will not come out as authentic to whoever is reading it. And because you want to be someone who is yourself, presenting yourself anytime, whenever you're doing these kind of personal statements. And you don't want to be someone else's model or try to be like, follow this path of being manufactured, because my time in high school, I felt like I was being manufactured into this person that was trying to be like their friends, trying to like do the same things that their friends were doing, not what I was interested in. And that's something that not a lot of people have the capability, or I should say, like, I forgot the word, but not everyone has the fortune of doing what they want. But my best advice would be to don't model yourself after people that you're not, because it's not going to help you in the long run. Because for me, as I transferred to University of Washington, I was someone who was focused on doing, at the beginning I thought I was going to do computer science, I was going to go into the tech field. I soon found out that I wanted to be a business major, and I wanted to pursue that more, because that's who I really feel that I am. And I'd rather not be sitting there writing code all day at the computer, and instead I want to be talking with people. And so college is also not just a place to learn academically, but it's also a place to figure out who you are and who you want to be. Because once college is over, right, whatever you learn here is what you're going to be taking with you into your career, and you might be doing that your whole life, and you want to be in a place where you're happy doing whatever that is.
That was really well said. Manisha, obviously as a college counselor, what is your insight to the whole application process?
Yeah, I think Ishi and Bhargava, right? Sorry. Bhargava, I think they covered most of it. I would definitely just summarize some of the things that from my experience. Yes, you should start early, 9th grade, 10th grade. And if you want counselor, you can go for counselor. Like, that is my job. When kids come to me, when they're a sophomore or freshman, it helps me kind of build their profile, help them build their profile for application. But at the same time, I always tell them that don't always continuously think about college application. Okay, pursue something that you're passionate about and go in depth, and that will show up in your application no matter what. Okay, but don't say that, oh, I want to go this college and this student got in and he had this background, so let me try to do that. No, that's not going to work for you. Who you are a different person, right? So you have to follow your own instincts and own passion for anything. And there is plenty of time to do everything. You just have to organize a little bit better. Okay, and don't get stressed out thinking that, are my essays going to be complete? Is my college list right? And there are counselors who definitely help you. And as Ishi pointed out, yeah, these essays, we think in certain way how we want to represent, but each college has their own pattern, and that's what we focus as a counselor. We guide students on that one. But what I want to insist is, don't rush for anything. Take your time. And as Ishi and Bhargava pointed out, you can read as many essays as you want, but at the end of the day, your essay will be your own story and in your own words. It will be your voice. It won't be my voice. It won't be your parents' voice. It won't be your friend's voice. It will be your voice, and that is important. And even if you are not like, very creative writer, that's fine. As long as you are genuine, you come across genuine, and you can connect with college admission officer correctly and represent yourself, that's all matters. Okay. And a lot of times, the last point I'm going to say, a lot of times people call me in April or May and say, hey, can we start on essays? In summer is coming up, can we use a June, July? And I tell them, don't rush for it, because a lot of times students do a lot of important things in summer, in the rising senior summer. And that experience we do take into account while writing essay. So even if you start like in August, no worries, you will be able to finish your essays on time if you are on schedule. And of course, that's where, like, I help my students too, and I kind of help them calm down in that sense, because they get very nervous about it. Am I behind? My friend has finished it, but they don't know that friends are going to rewrite a lot of those things, because now they want to talk about their summer experience too. And I'm talking this from my own experience, like, while helping out. I have helped out more than 150 plus students now, and they're all over. So from each of that experience, I can tell you, every year I get this call in panic attacks, like, oh, can we start now? Can we start now? And just relax. Everything falls in place. We just have to, do it systematically. That's all. Thank you.